Raider Nation, the better team won today. The team that wanted it more won today. It was a complete team loss from coaches to players to anybody wearing silver and black on that sideline and on that field. They lost the football game today. The Colts wanted it more. They came out right out the box, opening drive, smacked us in the mouth, and scored, set it up, 7 up quick. Between the penalties, between drop passes, bad throws, a bad game plan on both sides of the ball coming into this game, it was a complete team loss. And to top it off, the refs screwed us at the same exact time. And I'll get more into that in this video. But before I do, Stu Savage, Eddie and Margie Santos, if you guys are watching, please email me at realraider805@gmail.com. You guys are the winners of my 1,000 subscriber giveaway. If I don't hear from you by my next video, which will be in the next 2, maybe 3 days, I will have to pick new winners. So please email me, Stu Savage, Eddie and Margie Santos. Email me, realraider805@gmail.com. I appreciate it. If you guys could, like this video, subscribe, turn on those notifications. I'll be hitting you with content into the Broncos game and throughout the rest of the offseason. I'll be keep hitting you guys with content and doing more giveaways. So please subscribe to be included in all that. So let's break this thing down a little bit. Let's start with the offense. I think at the end of the day, the offense just tried to get too cute. We tried to get too cute, whether it's trick plays on 3rd and 1, opening up the second half of the game. We had ourselves in a 2nd and 1. One of the things that I wanted to see out of Bo Hardegree was how he was going to attack this very predictable Gus Bradley defense. And he struggled. He struggled to do so. There was a certain point in this game that would have showed me just how Bo Hardegree could be as an offensive coordinator. One of the things as an offensive coordinator is you call plays. And one of the things that we saw when we played against the Chargers was Bo Hardegree went up in the box, right? And one of the things I said in the videos that I dropped after that game was one of the benefits of being up in the box as an offensive coordinator is when you call a play, you call plays knowing that you have 4, 5, 6 plays that can counter it. So if you see something open, for example, if you call a pass play and the quarterback doesn't hit the open receiver, you see that open receiver from up in the skybox. You got that eagle eye up top looking down. You can see what the quarterback may have missed if a receiver breaks open or not. And what you do is you take note of that and you try to go back to it. And there was an opportunity for Bo Hardegree to do that. Opening drive, second half, we had a 2nd and 1. It was actually a great play call. I liked it. It was 2nd and 1. We're ahead of the sticks, and we actually throw a little deep route to Devontae Adams. It was incomplete. But what happened was I believe it was either Zamir White or Amir Abdullah that kind of snuck out of the backfield to the left. He did kind of like a swing route to the left, opposite of the deep route that we took, and it was wide open. I mean, if we hit the running back out of the backfield, he's gone. That was a play that we need to go back to. You set that play back up, you take note of it, but unfortunately, I didn't see it the rest of the game. And that was at the beginning of the second half. We had the whole second half to try to go back to that play, and I didn't see him go back. Those are the type of things that I want to see out of Bo Hardegree is how do you set up plays? How do you take advantages of missed opportunities? But also, how are you going to battle against this very predictable Gus Bradley defense? And he failed to miss the mark. In addition to that, obviously we had our false start penalties, which killed us in a lot of big moments. But why did we throw the ball 47 times? Zamir White just came off of a 145 yards rushing game on the ground against the Kansas City Chiefs, and your game plan was to throw the ball 47 times with Aiden O'Connell. And we struggled to protect him in the pocket. We obviously know Aiden O'Connell is not a mobile quarterback, so he was going to be able to extend plays with his feet. We still attempted to throw the ball 47 times. I'm not exactly sure why. So that is on Bo Hardegree, and I'll get more on him in a second. But let me know. Let me know what you struggled to look at on the offensive side. What did you see out of our offense that just didn't allow us to have any advantage in this football game. I understand we put up 20 points, but let me know in the comments down below, what do you think our offense struggled with most? Now let's look at the defensive side, right? I think defensively we just played too soft. I think one of the things that I noticed was I think Patrick Graham might have been a little bit too afraid of the RPOs, the read pass options. Gardner Minshew is very good at the RPO game. And that's one of the things that he's been very successful with, not only with the Colts, but with his previous teams. He runs the RPOs very well, and you could see that they were trying to do that. In the beginning of the game, Gardner Minshew ran one, missed Michael Pittman on a slant route, which was going to be a pretty good gain, if not extend. Michael Pittman could have caught that ball and ran for a little bit, I believe. But I think Patrick Graham was a little afraid of the RPO game, and he did not bring the pressure that I thought he could have. The Falcons sacked Gardner Minshew 6 times last week. And the Falcons don't have the pass rush we do. We sacked him 1 time. Max Crosby didn't get a sack. Malcolm Kuntz didn't get a sack. I think it was Adam Butler got our only sack early in the game. But we did not bring the pressure like I wanted to. I actually saw more pressure out of Gus Bradley, to be honest with you. I think Gus Bradley changed up his scheme a little bit, knowing that he's going against a non-mobile rookie quarterback, and he brought the pressure at certain times that kind of flustered Aiden O'Connell. I don't think Aiden O'Connell looked very comfortable back there at all, because I saw Gus Bradley switch things up. And, in addition to that, instead of bringing pressure, I saw Patrick Graham move to more of a 5-man front. So he wasn't really playing any mind games with the offense. He wasn't disguising coverages. He wasn't disguising blitzes. He basically went from a 4-man front down to a 5-man front to bring pressure. That's really all I saw. And that was disappointing to see, because I've seen so much better out of Patrick Graham, and the way that he disguises and brings pressure, I've seen so much better out of him, and I didn't understand why he kind of switched it up and played so basic this game. So, that was tough, but at the end of the day, we can't expect our defense to carry us every single game. I said in my scouting report video leading up to this game is that if the offense could score 20, I thought we had a really good chance. Now, we had some penalties. It really hurt us, especially at the end of the game. The pass interference on Jack Jones, that was a tough one at a really crucial point in the game. It was just horrible timing for a pass interference call like that. But the reality is how many times do we have to rely on our defense to win us a football game? And isn't it fitting? The game that eliminates us from the playoffs, the refs decide to screw us as well. You go back to the field goal that basically won it, right? We lost by 3 points. The Colts kick a field goal. They missed that field goal, but the refs call a penalty on Jack Jones. They call offsides on Jack Jones, give him the extra 5 yards. The Colts kick a field goal again, and they make it. If you go back, and I looked at this when it originally happened, I looked at it going, it looked like Jack Jones may have timed it right. But because it was quick, I wasn't sure. But I went back. After the game, I went back and I looked. And it looked like Jack Jones just timed that thing perfectly. One of the things you got to understand with those snappers is when they snap that ball, they typically will lift that ball first, and then they'll get into their snap motion. So they'll lift that ball half an inch off the ground, and then they'll get in that snap motion because they want to get that velocity on the ball. The first thing that moves is Jack Jones's left arm. The left arm that's cocked behind him, that arm moves first. So if you look closely, I think Jack Jones just timed it perfect. And then after I looked at it multiple times and I made my kind of thought on it, my decision on it, I went on social media. You look at Twitter. Jack Jones actually went on his own Twitter and posted a video of it. Played it, rewound it, and basically was saying, I timed it perfect. The refs screwed us. And I actually agree with him. So isn't it fitting, the game that we get eliminated, the refs have a piece of it again? And it just pisses me off. I understand there might be some of you going, oh, stop with that nonsense, blah, blah, blah. I suggest you go look at it. I suggest you go look at it because at the end of the day, and I even looked to see if Jack Jones was lined up offsides. Was he lined up offsides first? And based on what I could see, it did not look like he was lined up offsides. Now, again, I'd love to see the sideline angle because if the sideline angle tells me different, okay, then I'm wrong and that's fine. But what I saw was if it was based on Jack Jones getting off the ball too quick, I think the refs got it wrong. And that's my take on it. And that was really tough. And then let's look at the coaching staff, right? I think there was poor clock management, whether it be at the end of the second half. Now, we didn't really have much of a chance at the end of the first half. We didn't have much opportunity at the end of the first half to score, but I think clock management was poor at the end of the first half. For some reason, we let 30 seconds go off the clock, and then we decided to call a timeout with 11 seconds. Not exactly sure why that was. If you guys see that differently, if there was a reason for that, please let me know in the comments down below. But, I think clock management was a little rough this game. I think that shows that Antonio Pierce still has a lot to learn. I don't think Antonio Pierce doesn't understand clock management. He played this game at an extremely high level. He played this game, at such a high level to win championship at the highest level. So he understands clock management, but this is the side of coaching that a lot of people don't see and don't realize. There's so much going on in your head. You have a staff that is responsible for a lot of things. There's so much you have to think about that sometimes you kind of forget or you miss that moment. And so those are things that Antonio Pierce, I think, still has to learn is how do you manage that time within all the other responsibilities you need to handle as a head coach. So I think, we had poor clock management at times. I think the decision, and I said this early in the game, I thought the decision to not kick the field goal on the Colts 41-yard line, it was in the second half, midway through the second half. It was 3rd and 1. It was 4th and 1 on the Colts 41. We decided to take the delay of game and punt the ball. And even when we took the delay of game, the thing is that it still would have been in that situation. If we decided to try to kick that field goal, it would have been a 56-yard field goal. We have Carlson. He can make that. So I'm not exactly sure why we didn't attempt the field goal midway through that second. That's the 3 points off that board. Now, obviously, there's a lot more time left in the game. There was so many more things that could have happened. But you're leaving points on the board or off the board. That's where I was afraid that was going to bite us in the ass later in the game, and we lost by 3. So some poor decisions made, and that's why I say from offense to defense to everybody, to coaching staff, it doesn't matter. I think this was a complete team loss to everybody that wore silver and black that stepped on that field today. And so how do we sum this up? Where do we go from here? We're officially eliminated from the playoffs. Colts wanted more. They knew that in order to potentially win their division and still keep their playoffs hopes alive, they need to win this game. And they did it. They just wanted more. One thing I said in the beginning of this video, and I want to go back to, is Bo Hardigree. I'm hearing all over social media, Bo Hardigree lost us the game. And yes, you can say that he failed to meet the moment. But remember, guys, he was never put on this coaching staff to be in that moment. You can say he lost it. Okay, let's move on. We all know Bo Hardigree is not the guy. He did have the opportunity to prove that he could be the guy or prove that he can be the guy, but we knew that going into it. He wasn't the offensive coordinator. That was Josh McDaniels. He wasn't even the offensive coordinator on paper. That was Mick Lombardi. We basically just promoted him because we promoted him because that's all we have. So you know what, Bo Hardigree, you did what you could. You did your best. I appreciate all the work you put into it. It sucks that that was the situation you were put in. You did what you could with a fourth round rookie. That's what you did. So, and I said it before. Let me know in the comments below, guys. We were so high on Antonio Pearson. I'm not saying Antonio Pearson is the guy or not, and I never have in any of my videos. Go back and check them. I've never said whether or not AP is the guy or not because I want the full entire season to play out. Even when we lost against Minnesota and didn't score a point, when we scored 63 on the Chargers, I never said whether or not he is the guy or not. Why? Because you need the entire season to play out. You need to see how this thing plays out, and I will make a video after the Broncos game as to what my opinion is. But let me know in the comments below what you think. Do you think AP is the guy for the job going into 2024? Let me know in the comments below. Only thing I will say is based off of this win, based off of a couple games in the past, I do think that AP has a lot to learn. And that's no secret. That is no secret. He has only been a coach in the NFL for 2 years. He was coaching high school football 5 years ago. He's got a lot to learn at this level. And, basically that's all I'll say on it. But let me know in the comments below if you think AP is the guy moving forward, or if you don't think AP is the guy. Let me know in the comments. I'll drop a video after the Broncos game giving you my opinion. Another question is this the last we're going to see of Josh Jacobs? At this point right now, there's nothing that Josh Jacobs will play for. There isn't. I was questioning whether or not he was going to play this week. I was questioning, is Josh Jacobs making business decisions? If you look at what his injuries were leading up to this, right? There was a quad injury 3 weeks ago, but then it was a quad/illness, which he did get sick. But I figured that quad injury would have been healed by now because there was rumors on that Thursday night game against the Chargers that if that wasn't a Thursday game but a Sunday game, there was a possibility he was going to play. That was 2 weeks ago. He didn't play today. Is Josh Jacobs making business decisions at this point, knowing that he's going to be a free agent, he doesn't want to injure himself, and he wants to make sure he's healthy going into free agency? Let me know in the comments below what you think. I wasn't going to say it before. I dropped a video before this game on Josh Jacobs' injury and what that situation was. But, my question is, and what I'm going to say now is Josh Jacobs making business decisions? Because I think he is. Let me know in the comments below what you think. And then where do we go from here? We're eliminated from the playoffs. We got the Broncos left. The Broncos, they're eliminated from the playoffs. I never say tank. I never say I want to lose. Because I'll tell you right now, I got young kids. I got young kids that root for the Raiders. I got young kids that want to see the Raiders play. That they love seeing me watch the Raiders. They love the excitement I see when the Raiders play and the Raiders win. I don't ever want to see the Raiders lose. But at the same time, we currently sit at the 11th spot in the draft. Again, Broncos have nothing to play for. I don't know how much our players have to play for at this point. No, at the end of the day, this is a business. There's players that are going to be free agents at the end of the year. There's players that don't want to risk injury. And I understand it. How quickly does teams drop you if you tear an ACL, if you injure yourself, and now you're considered injury prone? Teams will drop you like a bad habit in a heartbeat. So I understand the business side. So where do we go from here? Let me know in the comments below. What do you guys want to see? Do you guys want us to fight and beat the Broncos? I mean, I know I do because I want to see our Raiders win. But let me know in the comments below, what do you guys want to see us do next week? Do you want us to fight for a draft spot, or do you want us to fight to beat